of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me again we have Lord Holy-Apostle Deen and my brother and partner in faith, co-host, Brother Fakir Abdul Aziz. You might see one missing, Holy Queen Mother Rabbi Saleem, but we're going to give her the shout out, may Allah's peace and other blessings with our presence as well. Many of those who have tuned in to part one concerning our program, the conversation concerning Satan, Ahezaah is now expressing and explaining to us the greater depth of the opposing forces now of the good and of the evil, or the negative and the positive aspects in life that we relate to now as there being of the force of evil or the force of the devil. And Allah breaking down for us now, we turn the term devil itself as one who is a doer of evil. Then you can recognize not just people outside of yourself, but now you start recognizing those maybe within your own being as one who is opposition or being negative to the forces of the good, which is Allah. Amen. So we're going to continue on our conversation. We hope you're enjoying what you're hearing on this program, and that you continue to be blessed by our Lord in this hour of the day. With that being said, Holy Apostle, you were addressing before about how on the realm or on the balance of life in general, how we always deal in either the positive or the negative aspects or sides in opposition to what the Lord has sent down this hour of the day. If people today do not realize or show now, as explained to us now, how to recognize, then people will continue on maybe down the same path that they've been going on, maybe to their own destruction or detriment, and not trying to find the balance in the good, or turn back to the good in this day that Allah is calling you through and by you as a sign of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, within every individual, you have, like I said, the 7 bodies of being, and
Right.
each body is an opposing force.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
And in our bodies of being, we had the physical, the mental, the emotional, right? And then you had the spiritual, and then on the top side you had the ethereal, the astral, the ethereal, and the ethereal. You understand? And so you might look at it as ethereal being opposed to the physical. You know?
Okay.
At the crown of the ethereal is your soul,
Right.
the top. Okay? And at the foot, the very bottom of your physical is your physical nature.
Okay.
Your flesh, your earthly nature.
Okay.
Which has a nature, an instinctive nature, or somewhat we can say of a mind.
Okay.
Because your body calls out for things.
Yeah.
But for the serious thinker, the
Right.
serious student, you know, there are studies where you can go on and you can understand how, let's say for instance, a person who has the power to deal with magic.
Okay.
Devil always want to say black magic and make you think it's evil. Why the devil always say, the people evil always saying magic is evil, magic is evil? Didn't Moses manifest magic?
Yeah. Yes,
Did not Jesus manifest magic?
Right.
Did not Muhammad manifest magic?
Yes.
The prophets manifested magic. Muhammad with the birds, for one thing, fighting with Muhammad, dropping stones on the men who was trying to do harm to him, where they try to run Muhammad over with the elephants, and the elephants wouldn't come past a certain boundary.
That's right.
That was magic. You understand? Jesus healing, that's magic.
Right.
Magic is only, they created that word from the Magis,
Okay.
who had spiritual gifts.
Right.
They were able to go places and see things and do things like Muhammad went to heaven and Jesus went there. They were able to do those things back and forth. You see, and they were able to heal, and they were able to read the minds of people like they said no man can read another person's mind. I beg to differ. If the Lord gives a man a talent to be able to read the minds and the vibrations and spiritual and emotional vibrations of a person, how are you going to deny and say that they can't do it when it's been proven that enlightened individuals, psychics, can do it? You see? But the reason the doers of evil, the supporters, the advocates of the devil always want to throw black on it because they have made black appear to be something evil.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you about that black in a moment.
Okay.
They don't want the common man to look into magic. Magic is enlightenment. Magic is spirituality. Magic is and they make it mysticism seem like it's something dirty and wrong.
Right, they do.
When all the prophets dealt with mysticism, something that was mystified. Mystery. You see, they try to make the mystery of the Lord Most High evil. But the greatest part of the Lord El is its mystery.
Right.
The greatest part. We know little about the Lord El.
Right.
In all of the universes. That's little compared to its infinity. Its eternal mind. Its infinite living mind. Its expanse. Even some of the physicists and some of the science, astrological scientists will bear witness that the universes are expanding. How are they expanding?
Right,
How in the world can they be getting bigger and bigger?
Right, they do say that.
Because the infinite living mind is endless. You see? And it's a mystery.
Right, okay.
Huh? Now, if we come to know the mystery as men, as minds, we come more closer to the whole of the Lord El. We got the seeing of its things.
Right.
We got the knowing of its acts. And we can hear from things that it gives sound to. We know its movements, how it moves things. But then there's that other side, that void. That side where nothing is done. No thing is. No thing formed. Where the greatest power is. Where everything comes out of.
Right.
You get to know that, you become of the holy. Of the whole. Because holy comes from whole.
Right.
They just remove the W.
Right. Right.
From the word. You see? So the doers of evil don't want the common man to become elite in mind and spirituality and come to this knowledge that will raise him or her above the devil. Raise him or her above the actual devil Satan. Because the Lord threw that devil down here on the level of earth as a punishment. And although it is unseen in the spirituality, it ain't in the center of the earth. That's only symbolism.
Right.
It's in dimensions and it's manifested in the physical realm on this earth. It's manifested in certain situations, just like you got people worshiping Satan and praying to Satan and trying to commit to those working spirits on you and what have you. The Lord allows that to be. The Lord gives them a law and order for that. They're on the negative side of the prophets and the enlightened ones, the mystics, the Sufis, you know, the true saints who manifest that on the positive side. Giving the glory and the power, the ownership, the recognition to the Lord El, where they do it for themselves, giving themselves recognition, giving the devil's recognition. It's the opposite. But the Lord allows that opposing force to be. Therefore, they can work their inclinations on people. You understand? Now, there's a way that the Lord give us to get away from the effects of their inclinations, and that is to call on it. To surrender ourselves to it in totality, and it will take up the fight for us. That's the right way. Not for us to fight for ourselves, because it's the doer of evil in our own minds, where in the back of our brains, where our ego is, that's telling us you don't need the Lord. You could do this yourself. You could be anything you want to be. You free. You your own man. And that's all evil. That's all lies. That's why in your weakest states, in your anger, where you think you got power, in your madness, you think you got power, that's where you operate from. Where the truly enlightened, the true saints, the true mystics, they don't operate from anger. They don't have to. They operate from the platform of the Lord, the throne of the Lord. The Lord operates for them. That's why Moses couldn't be defeated. That's why in his court of Pharaoh, the magicians on the negative side said, whoa, wait a minute, his magic is real. His magic is greater. And when it said real, it wasn't saying that theirs was just illusion, because some of them know real too.
Right.
Little bit of real, but they know it. Because when you come to the fork of the road in spirituality, you get a choice. You can go with the devil, yourself, anything other than the Lord El, that's the supporters in the devil itself. Or you go with El.
Right.
But when you get to that point, whatever you've come to know, you may be able to use in your life. You may be given the affordance of using it. And that's why some of them know the real. But when he said his magic is real, right, he was saying this magic comes from the light of the.
Right, okay.
The light of El. Right. That's what Ray Al is. Right. Light of El. You know, we can't mess with this.
In that vein, because going back to what Ahezaah sent down to Moses, and Ahezaah connected it now, what he came being raised up in the house of the Pharaoh, and him understand that the light of Ray, the light of Ra, Ansar Ray, and they utilized, they know that when he came to the burning bush and recognized old essence and guide, as Allah explained to us, that him going back to Pharaoh and them, and the magicians recognizing, hey, wait a minute, because they came from the same school of thought or mystery school and spirituality, but they went to the negative, as you're saying.
They went to the negative.
So in that same interim, how do people who recognize that when they speak about Ansar Ray and then Set now from that same teaching, how Set became opposition now to Osiris or Ansar Ray, and its connection now, because people who come through these, I hear people now that they don't to this African teaching and studies. But
you want to see how they protect themselves?
How they protect themselves, right, in this.
You know, it is so simple. It is so simple, but it's so simple it's hard. Right. Because man vibes and complications. Right. The devil got man tricked so bad that they think if it ain't complicated, it ain't real. If I ain't got to work for it, if it ain't, think about the men who go out and spend $200 for a book, $300, $1,000 for a book.
Maybe it's small, maybe. Yeah.
And what I'm about to say might be hard for you to see, but let me say it from this point of view. Okay. I've known an individual go out and spend $200, $400, $500 for a book, and I've read some of his books. And I've had to get through all the rigmarole, all the trash to get to some essence.
Right.
Because you got those writers from the dark side writing up all this stuff to cover up what they actually saying before you can get to what you need to hear.
Right.
Then you get a $2 book, a $1.50 little pamphlet from a mystic, a Sufi.
Right.
And boom, there go all the information. The kernel,
right?
The seed, the cream of the crop,
right?
For $2. You go to a major bookstore, like I used to go to Wise's years ago. Major bookstore, and you see guys walking out with $2,000 worth of books, and you could see them. You say, boy. You know, and little old me coming out there with $9 worth of books. I got jewels.
Right.
And he got a bunch of sand and rocks and stones, and he got to go home and dig out to find the jewels. Right. But he's satisfied and content because I wouldn't buy them little pamphlets. No, I'm get this big book, hard copy. You know, $200. I know that's good. I bought some books and I learned quick. I'm not going to call the books names, but these were books that were supposed to be the heaviest Christian Science books.
Okay.
bought them books, man, and I said, whoa. And this was when I was young. This was before my enlightenment. I was like, whoa, what is this? Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, this is evil. Because you got a degree,
Right.
you know, from some school, don't mean that you're right.
Right.
And if you're not right, you're not good. Huh?
Right.
In order to lead somebody to the Lord, to the highest wisdom, you gotta be right. Don't matter how much information you've collected. Anybody can be a man or woman of intelligence.
Right.
Intelligence is only a gathering of information. And they didn't got so deep, they say it's a gathering of secret information.
Right. Yeah. Now. Yeah.
But it's really a gathering of information that they may have turned to a secret. The secret may be we're lying to you to make you think that we're greater than what we are. So say that we are the fathers and the priests and the holy mothers of the Lord. And that you need to come to us like you came to the prophets, Jesus and Moses and different prophets to get to the Lord. Bring me your confessions and I will intercede for the Lord. Right. Even though the Lord said in his later books, there's no intercession between my servants and me. But you're going to be an intercessor where the angels can't even be an intercessor as a father or a priest or whatever they want to call a papacy. You understand?
Mm-hmm. True.
It's some deep stuff. You have the supporters of Satan sitting in the seat of Satan here on earth. Ready to oppose the throne of the Lord Most High. Ready to oppose the man of the Lord Most High. The one who was promised to come in this day. Just like when Muhammad came, the Jews in Medina knew and they recognized him as being a promise fulfilled of Jesus' covenant with the Lord.
Right, exactly.
They knew the Essenes who were killed. I forget which mount they was killed on, but the last 70 of them who tried to hide the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right.
You know, you still have people who come in those veins, in the seed of that lived in the time of Muhammad. And some of them recognized him and told the people, this is the one. He's one of our brothers.
Right.
And he come with the word. And we need to fulfill our part of this bargain that the Lord has put down on us.
Right.
So they try to fulfill that. And they helped establish Islam back in Mecca.
Right.
The Jews, the Hebrews. And some who were Christians. You know? But Ahezaah put down chapter 2 to them in the Holy Quran when Muhammad was speaking to them about their books, about that is the book, the Torah, you know, and that there's no doubt, you know, and the Muslims, the Arabs come and try to say Muhammad wasn't talking about no Torah, he's talking about the Holy Quran. This is the book and that there's no doubt. Well, how can Muhammad say this is the book and that there's no doubt when the Holy Quran wasn't even fully formed for him?
Exactly.
How can he say this is the book and that there's no doubt? And how can he say that when Muhammad was illiterate? They know Muhammad couldn't read or write.
Right.
The book wasn't even formed. It was being formed.
Right.
Huh? He was talking to them Jews about what they had. He said, you know that book. Right. And you know it like you know your own sons. You know the prophet like you know your own sons.
Right.
Uphold the covenant. I fulfill my covenant that I've written. It's in your book.
Right.
Huh? And Muhammad said, we're talking about in the Holy Quran about this day. From that time to this day, the great day. Which again, I say they didn't want to say in the Holy Quran that it was revelation. But they know. You got the doers of evil, the devil, the supporters of Satan that would come in this day and say the Lord ain't going to speak to man no more. Keep on coming, try to convince you that there's no hope. The Lord ain't going to speak to y'all. Listen, let me tell you something. He spoke to Muhammad 1,400 years ago, 1,500 years ago. And that's it. It ain't going to speak no more. So forget about that.
No, it's another book.
Yeah,
Quran is it. That's all you need.
We'll put a lot of complicated, filled up books to prove the point. To keep hearing with scholars names or whatever. Yeah.
And if you're a person that likes to let other people think for you, then you be gone. You know? I mean, the simple things, some of the simple things that if you trust in the Lord Most High and you trust in His law and order, and you try to abide and tolerate your desires, putting its desires over your desires. Because most people don't want to abide the Lord by putting their own desires behind their back and put its desires up front.
Right.
They don't want to live under the will of the free.
Right. Man, yeah, you broke that down. Yeah.
They want to live under their own incarcerated will. Huh?
Right. Hearing this conversation now, the doers of evil that's out there in TV land might find this in opposition to them because you bringing truth now.
Oh yeah, it's an opposition. I am an opposition to them.
Right.
You
so,
know?
in that, I either presenting this now, and it's giving people who they'll still have hope in them, that there is a way to come to our Lord in this life, then this is the opportunity and chance now.
Lord, you were telling us how the message that we're getting here on the show setting is for the believers, the books and you can see that even in the matter of the believers, because believers...
who are the believers?
Right.
Yeah, that is the question. Who are the believers?
Because see, when a lot... Well, finish your point.
No,
go ahead.
Of those who are the believers, you have to imagine that they've been tried, and the waiting, if they're truly seeking, they're seeking for truth, they've been tried with the tricks of the doers of evil, the tricks in the way they've manipulated the world, the media, the books, and stuff like that. So when they finally hear truth, those who are believers are inclined to be believers, they hear this clear truth that's debunking all the things that they've been taught, or some of them they've held. Yeah, they're tried by it too. You have to imagine that. Okay, I'm tried, but I have to keep listening. If they're sincere, I have to keep listening. I can't argue against it right now. It's making sense. Oh yes, that makes sense. That answers my question. You know, so I can see this, that it is for the believers, those who are.
Allah, Ahezaah. The Lord El is so wise. I mean, so knowing, so complete in all that it does. It's so balanced. It says, I send down to you the book and the balance. Huh? And I send Muhammad as a sign, or whomever the prophet is, I send him as a sign. The balance is the wisdom of El, the divine guidance of El. That's the balance. It is the balance itself. When it says I send down to you the balance, I send down myself, unitized with and unseen with my prophet and my book. I am the protector of that book. I am the protector of that prophet. I am the covenanter. I am the one that put the covenant in the prophet, and I am the one that opened the book up in the prophet so that the angel could read it to him. Huh? I am the one that sends the angel and protects the angel, get the angel power. I am the one that put this threefold divine union together and make it real, make it unbeatable. I am the one. It said this is for the people of the book.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Now, I guarantee you, I don't know Arabic, but I believe, and I wish somebody would go and research it. When Ahezaah talked about the believers, it was saying those of the believer. Because it is the believer.
Right.
People like to fancy themselves and say, well, I'm a believer. And Allah said clearly in the Holy Quran, don't say that you are a believer. You don't know what belief is yet.
I always say, you don't know me yet.
You don't know me yet.
Right.
You can't be a believer. How you going to believe a thing you don't know?
Right.
It's impossible. Do you believe in Paragon?
Paragon?
Paragon.
No idea what Paragon is. Paragon.
So, you can't believe in it.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's
simple. That's simple.
Do you believe in Allah, the ultimate?
What I
Tell the truth, man.
Yes.
No, you don't. How you gonna believe in something you don't know?
I believe.
To know something is to experience something.
Right.
You don't believe in Paragon? That's just another name I gave for Allah. I just made it up. Huh? I just put the word paradox and going out of your mind together. I know it hurts you. I know. See, I know. He feel like, oh, he stabbed me. How can he say I'm not a believer? But Allah said you're not a believer. Ahezaah said you're not a believer. But see, here's the whole thing. Thank Ahezaah for the mercy it put on you, that it would make you, it would draw you to itself and choose you to be of the believer.
Right.
Choose you to become knowing of belief.
Right.
So that the thing to believe, so that you may believe. Thank Ahezaah for protecting you and guiding you and holding you in the path of the way before you get to belief. How you gonna claim a thing that belonged to Ahezaah and feel bad because Ahezaah's messenger come and say, it said that ain't what's happening with you. So when Allah talk about the believers, if it's referring to a man or a woman, it's referring to those that are holy unto it. Those who have lost their own souls to it. Those who have lost their own will to it. Those who have no choices, no decisions, and they are aware of that in the matter of their lives. Everything that's done is by its choice. Every single matter minus nothing. Every iota. They are of the believer. And they are the only ones that can be called the believers. Because they have no way of turning back from belief. Because Ahezaah got their soul and got their being, their mind, and it has taken them up into the light of Christ and annihilated them, and then gave them new life in the way of the righteous and made them children of the Spirit of the Lord of righteousness, and made them of itself and calls them sons and daughters. Because they become of it and they have nothing of themselves that they used to have in their attachments to the created worlds. Are you one of those? No. So, you favor belief. You seeking to be a believer. You trusting to be a believer. You trying the faith. You know, it's different things like that. It's better for you to say that, and better for you to think that, and better for you to believe that.
Really,
so that you will walk on the path of righteousness in the right way. So that when Allah pick you up and bring you onto his throne, you won't be up there babbling like an idiot, blah, blah, blah. I didn't mean to take your what was belonged to you.
Right. Praise be to Ahezaah. This has been an
we gotta go for part 3.
This has been a hot moment to calm before the storm. We pray that you enjoyed what you heard. I know it's dropped something heavy on us before this show ends, but if you want to reach us by correspondence, it's A.H.A.D Incorporated, Post Office Box 8795, Newark, New Jersey, 07103, or via the internet at Third House, T-H-I-R-D, H-O-U-S-S-E at yahoo.com. Lord Holy-Apostle, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Fat Kid, it's been a pleasure. Man, Ahezaah's peace and the blessing be without your presence. May the Lord bless you to have a good evening and think about what you heard on this program.
Of you
Good night.
want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you